I have an intense experience of, I'm just very sensitive, so I'm very, very impacted by everything. And it's hard being that sensitive. So little things like going to Telegraph Avenue are like brutally kind of, there's no buffer.
Shake you.
Everything penetrates.
Yes. Right, I understand.
And I don't know how to function in the world like that.
Well, there's only one way for you. Because you're never going to keep the world from penetrating, right? That's the whole point, is that everything gets in. That's unprotected. That's the whole point. But it's only painful or feels overwhelming or makes you feel vulnerable if it's not going through. If it's coming in and landing onto somebody.
Right.
You see what I mean? So you're not going to create any way where that's not going to happen. Actually, that's not really the truth of our being. The truth of our being is actually very porous. Everything comes in, right? But it's coming in and it's impacting something.
Oh, I'm getting totally crushed, and I don't know how to not be crushed. I mean, I'm just like, whatever it is that, if something's supposed to die, it's really stubborn. Yeah. How?
How? Only one way, finding out what you are. Because what's getting crushed is your self-image, which is also not just mental, but it's emotional, and it even becomes physical. It's just this one whole package. And that's what's getting impacted, right? Because it even has an energy to it.
Yeah.
And so it gets impacted.
Pain has a convincing reality.
Yes, it certainly does. So when your identity is in that, there's no way that you can't be impacted. You see, it just happens. When essentially that's what you take yourself to be. And it reinforces, wow, I get impacted. I feel so vulnerable. You feel and it's a very familiar and very old sense of who you are, right? I would imagine you've had this almost as long as you can remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, everyone has their own unique ways that their self sustains itself. Some really push away, some are very aggressive. I mean, it's all sorts of different ones. So here, this experience keeps reinforcing, right? That's how you know who you are. It may not be pleasant, but it's how you know who you are, is by being impacted, the one who gets impacted. Is it really what you are?
Oh, definitely no. That's not what I want. I want...
Not necessarily what you want, but is it
who I am?
Is it who you are? And this isn't a decision like, gee, maybe it's not. It's, is it really?
But no. It's pretty much just like, it brings me to that wordless place, but
But that wordless place is not, can it not just be here, that wordless place, but here. Here. So the center is empty.
Well, what I know is that what's happening is there is a self-contraction, around these experiences that tries to resist or that tries to hold something together because there's a sense of something being annihilated or wanting to fly apart or disintegrate. And then there's a lot of fear around that, and then some sort of kind of practical kind of probably more or less mental questions like, well, you have to function, you have to
Well, apparently so. Kind of helps the human thing go along if you can function. Right?
You know, a certain kind of like, you know. And,
so here's what I would suggest. Okay?
Please.
Just play with this. Play with this. See what happens. Mm-hmm. You have to feel this intuitively, not so much mentally. Right? Feel it. So even when you leave here, you go out and there's the noise of the traffic or, you know, people talking to each other or whatever. And what you'll find is that place that feels very vulnerable. It's like how metaphysical do I want to get? Oh, what the hell? It's like an energy body, right? It's like a body of energy, and it gets impacted.
Yes.
And as soon as this energy this energy body inside of you, right? If you're sensitive, you'll start to notice. If as soon as it encounters a situation that it feels in some way threatening or a little frightening, you can feel your energy go. It just kind of
shrinks.
Okay, so you've already good. So you follow me. So this energy body starts to shrink, right? For however it got started, who knows? And so what it does is everything's coming in because all of your other energy is very porous. You see, some people are very defended way out here. Their external energy is very defended. But yours isn't, right? Yours is very undefended.
Yes.
But your internal energy is very defended, right? Mm-hmm. So things come in. And there's only one way that this energy body finds out that it doesn't really need to defend now. Maybe it felt like in some time in the past it really needed to defend. Maybe it did need to defend. Who knows? So when you walk out and you'll feel this energy start to go like this. When you feel it go like this, it's just an intuitive turn and just consciously open it up. And when you consciously open it up to the energy that it's defending itself against, do you feel how it's not getting hurt in there when it really opens up? You get the feel. It's like that. See, in that way, your inner subtle energy body starts to realize that it can actually open itself up, and all of this input can actually come in. And if the internal core energy body is open, then it can pass through. It registers, but it goes through.
And I'm just curious. I mean, I definitely could feel that. And there was also this sense of it was like very, very full and kind of moved and kind of overwhelming, but in a different way, like a love way.
That's right. That's not one of the pictures. But you ever see those pictures of Christ or Jesus where he's like grabbed in here and he's opening his chest cavity and there's that heart?
Yeah.
See, that's when even the deepest, most subtle energy level, it's opened up. And that's what the various energy bodies, metaphorically speaking, they're all protecting this. The funny thing is, this is the only thing that doesn't need to be protected. See, all the other energy bodies need to be protected in a certain manner of speaking, but this doesn't, but they all think it does.
Right.
See, because it's the sacred thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's the inner of the inner of the inner of the inner of the inner. So we must protect it. Yeah. But when you open yourself to it, not only does it not need to be protected, because there's nothing really there tangible to be hurt, it shines. That's the fullness. Right? It starts to go, like that. It doesn't just sit in here and go, wow, there's nothing to be hurt. It's like it moves forward. That's the fullness. You get the sense of it.
Does it change the way that you see that things occur as well?
Yeah, changes everything. See, because it's impacting everything. As it finally, it's not just in the core, it sort of shines out. So it's actually all your other energy fields, they all open up. And of course, when they open up here, it just keeps going, right? It just keeps going. And so in a sense, I don't want to go too far with this, but in a sense, it actually starts to change the way things are out there too. It doesn't mean only the good things happen.
No, I understand.
But there's a whole different relationship that starts to happen with you and life.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing happens. Because life is always responding to us. It's a perfect mirror for us. That's the way it is. So when it all starts to open up, then life is a different mirror.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So grateful.
Let me know how it goes, will you?
I will.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. I don't know if that made sense to y'all or not, but I love when I can talk with somebody. I know, that's why I said I didn't have to go too linear on the words, because you could get it intuitively. That really shortcuts things. And it's actually much more real that way. And that's what we sense in anybody, not some special people, but anybody that's really free and it's really gone deep. You sense in their presence that their energy doesn't close. It's just there. If you love them, it's there. If you hate them, it's there. It's not changing, it's not altering. But it's not protecting, but it's also not doing something else. It's not reaching out and grabbing. It's not reaching out and asking anything from anything. Now, I'm not talking about on a verbal level simply, but just on the energy. It's not out there on a very subtle level, fishing for more. It's just, because that's the truth of our being, right? Meister Eckhart that I talked about before in this beautiful sermon he has on poverty, near the end of the sermon. And basically it is a way that he's describing the return to true nature, to the unborn, as he calls it. And he says, when I return to what I eternally was and am and always will be, I am what I wanted and I want what I am. And that's for all beings. Good to be with you. Namaste.